Are we live?
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Welcome to TLC Arts, and it is our usual Saturday afternoon class painting session. And I'm really happy to have you with me. Thank you to all our students for joining us, either here on Facebook Live or on our TLC Arts channel on YouTube. I think that we have finally got that up and running. If you guys would like to switch over there, and we can chat and work together that way as well. So today is our last class before we break for the summer. So I will be having Teacher Joan joining me in a little bit, and we are going to get started. But I just wanted to say that I hope you've got your glass ready because it's a party. We're celebrating the summer. I've got my bubbly, so make sure that you grab yourself a glass and something wonderful and refreshing to drink because this is a paint and sip session. Right? Cheers. Here's to you. Wonderful. So, hi, Joan. So, Joan will be joining me a little bit later as we get through most of our painting. I tried to do something very simple and very easy today so that we can spend some time just chatting and talking about the experience of having been in art and doing art together. Today, we're going to be doing Bird on a Fence, and I got this originally, I believe it's painting with Priya. So she's one of the YouTube artists that you can follow. Very easy, simple, and beautiful works of art that you can do. There are lots of great artists on YouTube that you can follow along step by step for instructions on how to produce your own works of art. So we originally had a sketch done a little bit earlier for all the students. So if you're joining me on Facebook for the first time and you're like, oh, you've already got the drawing done. Yes. So we wanted to be a little bit prepared for today. So what we've got is our birds with our fence. We've got a leaf that's sort of coming in from right field. And we're going to have some grass as well. And we're just going to show some highlights and maybe a little bit of rain depending on our time frame here. So what we're going to do is, as you can see, our theme today is birds. So I'm going to get my husband Dalton to come in a few minutes and to read our devotional that goes with our painting because we also like to have inspiration from the Word of God that ties into our particular painting theme. So we will be doing a devotional on birds and how that relates to us in our everyday lives as well. So I just want to say hi to the folks on YouTube as well. I'm glad that we were able to get you guys up there. And sorry for the delay, but our internet was a little bit sketchy today, but I think we're good to go. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to invite you to, students, take your large brushes. And yeah, I should have told you, we are going to be using three different types of brushes today. We're going to have our large brush, our medium-sized brush, and our fine tip brush for our details. So our color scheme. And Joan, let me know if I included blue in our paint packages there because I'm not 100% sure I remember to do that. So just let me know. So for our color scheme, we are going to use green as our background. Now I'm going to be mixing different shades of green. So for students, what you can do is for darker greens, you can mix just a touch of blue or a touch of black. I would probably recommend the blue more than the black because the black has a tendency to kind of take it over and you end up with a sort of a murky shade of green that's not very attractive. We're also going to do a touch of yellow. Oops. We're going to do a touch of yellow and we're going to sort of use these shades together to paint our background. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint in our background, then we'll have our devotional, and we will continue on with our painting after that. Now, so I've got a lighter shade of green, some yellow, and a darker shade of green. To make the lighter shade of green, of course, you can either add a bit of yellow to your regular green or a touch of white. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort of drag our brush through all of these colors. So you're looking more for a striation effect. We're going to start top left corner, come all the way down. Remember to do your edges. I always forget. Bring it down. if you can see, like I use marker for my sketch, so I can still see the outline of my fence. So you can bring it all the way down. Thank you to Teacher Joan for this lovely brush. Oh my goodness, it's wonderful. Not sure what it's Curry's. There you go. She's always got the good stuff, our Joan. So we're usually, I know that when we're doing, let's say, for example, the sky, we tend to go in a more horizontal manner, but this is more for effect. We're just doing things a little bit differently today. And I love green, so I'm very much in my element right now with these colors. Do we have any friends joining us on Facebook, Dalton?
There's Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Tanya Berry and Cornelius Morris.
Oh, hi, Cornelius. How are you? How are things up in England there? I'm not sure which part of England you live, but it's good to have you with us. On YouTube, I'm not sure who I've got on there. Guys, why don't you let me know who's on so I can say hi to you. Now, if you used a pencil for your sketch, when you come down to your bird, I can do this. Like I can go through my bird because I can still see my outline for later. What I would suggest you do is you come and you stop so that you don't lose your outline and you don't know where your bird is afterwards. So again, this is less about realism and more about effect, if you want to put it that way. And you really do want to kind of get that sort of triple layer look. Just got paint on my jeans. Now, when you come into that corner where we've got our leaf, try not to use too dark a green in that corner because we want our leaf to be able to show up. So and our leaf is going to be a darker shade of green around the edges. So use a lighter shade of green in that corner.
There's a Kathy Ann Sanford.
Hi, Kathy Ann. It's my sister from BIM.
Naomi.
Hi, Naomi. Glad you found us. Hope you and Daniel are enjoying what we're doing so far. And congratulations again to Daniel for winning that Easter Seals competition. We're very, very proud of him. So don't forget to bring your color all the way down to this part of your fence as well. Yes, I'll see that. Thank you. Just want to make sure I can still see my leaf after all this is done. I'd just like to say thank you to John for having been a part of our broadcasts, our classes these last few months, and for the excellent job that he and Dalton have been doing reading our devotionals for us. So thank you, Dalton. And thank you, John, for always bringing something new and extra to our devotionals. And also to Andrea, who does your technical work as well. And again, thank you, Dalton, because he does my camera work and all of my technical work and keeping me informed of who's on and, who's saying hi, so I can say hi back because I can't see from where I am. So you want to make sure your background is all nicely laid in. So I'm really happy with what I've got going on here. I love that effect. It's almost like green. And we will be putting in some rain as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a break and we're going to have our devotional. So if you want to start prepping for that. And Dalton's going to come and do that in just a second. I'm just going to keep on going here. Rinse out your brush because we're going to be tackling our fence next. Okay? So I'm just going to remember to drink your bubbly. Obviously, we're going to share.
Good afternoon, TLC family. Our scripture reading today is about birds, and we're reading from Matthew 10:24-31. It says, "Don't be afraid, you are worth more than many sparrows." Matthew 10, verse 31.
Can you come across this one a little bit? No, I'm going to have to change it.
Changing it? Sounds perfectly fine. As we stroll along the trails or in parks or any wooded areas, we often hear a symphony chirping as birds flit about in the trees. God has blessed creation with a vast and colorful array of birds. But then, we might notice the remains of a young bird that did not survive. What happened to it? We might wonder as we continue on our way. In today's verses, Jesus reminds us that not one sparrow will fall to the ground outside our Father's care. And yet, how much more will God care for us who are worth more than many sparrows? More, literally, this verse says, not one of them will fall to the ground without your Father. Rather than implying that it is God's will for these creatures to die, Jesus is teaching that even though bad things may happen and God does allow that, still, God is right there beside us. God is with us to comfort, refine, and reshape our lives for our good. Romans 8:28. God himself took the worst that humankind could do, crucify his son on the cross, and turned it into our salvation. Imagine what he can do in each of our lives. What an amazing conclusion we have when we think about the birds of the air and the God who cares for them. And our prayer for today is, thank you, Lord, for caring for all your creatures, great and small. Help us to feel your compassionate care in and through all our situations of our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoy the rest of the class, Painting with Nicole.
And you got to have your sip.
Oh, I got to have my sip of this non-alcoholic liquid.
Oh, that ginger ale is good.
Cheers.
Thank you. All right. Wasn't that wonderful? That was such a great devotional. So, oh, hi. So we've got Christine on Facebook. Oh, you said Facebook wasn't working for you. Oh, there. I'm sorry. But so we've got 6 people on with our YouTube channel. So, hi, guys. I hope that you can see. I'm going to try to angle this a little better for you. Hopefully that's clear. So what we've done, if you've just joined us, is we have started painting in our sky, which we have for our bird painting today. Now, what we're going to do now is we switch over. We're going to color in. Sorry?
And unlock you first, so then you have to lean forward to the end.
Okay. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to work on these inner portions of our fence. And this is sort of just an area of grass that we're going to just kind of fill in here. Now, this is going to be a dark color. Our fence will also be a dark color. So we're going to take a little bit of our blue. Hopefully you've got enough to spare. Please don't use up all your blue. We will need some a little bit later as we work on our leaf. So we're going to take some blue and maybe some black. So I still got my my Dollarama paints here. So we've had just an amazing year, and I'm sure Joan will attest to that as well. It has been a year of challenge for everybody, of course, and we are just at what God has done, in particular with this ministry, and just how many more people we've been able to reach. Ironically, not being able to have classes in person. So, you know, it works in mysterious ways, right? So what we are going to do now is these areas underneath this portion of our fence, we're going to fill this in with our dark color. So just fill it in like this. I'm going to use this smaller brush to kind of fill in the sides, just so I don't end up covering over the fence lines. My fence is a little crooked, so I hope yours is not. We're going to say that the wind blew against mine. Bring it all the way down here. I know I don't have any music playing today. That's because the last time I did, YouTube cut us off for copyright issues. So apparently one of the songs in the mix that I was using, so you have to turn that off, please. Thank you. In the mix that I was using, what turned out to there was an issue with the song, one of the songs. So YouTube just cut me right off. So I'm not risking it today. So it's just gonna be me chattering on, and maybe I'll sing. Who knows? Or I'll have Dalton sing.
Good luck with that.
All right. So we've got that done. Take a sip. Rinse out your brush. Now what we're going to do is we are going to mix up a gray and white, black and white. And we're going to do a similar type of effect that we did on the sky here. So we're going to use some black. We're going to use some white, but we're not just going to mix it as straight gray. We're going to try for that sort of striped effect. Make sure you squeeze out all the extra water from your brush. You're gonna do sort of that striped idea, white on one side, black on the other side. And we're going to start painting in our fence. So what you're going to get is sort of an interesting effect. And that makes your wood look a bit weathered. Just bear with me, I just dropped my brush. I pulled a Joan. Thank you. Joan, I dropped my brush. I was thinking I was gonna get through the whole semester without dropping my brush, but I did.
Doing Saunders.
Hi, Auntie Dee. Hi, Denise. It's so nice to have you with me. Hope everybody's well at home. You can use your smaller brush to come back in and do like the edges. I'm just gonna kind of hope for the best here. So you should have sort of an interesting effect. Like I said, it's almost like an aged wood type of look that you should end up with. If you've got like solid gray, then what you can do is go back in and pick up maybe like a little bit of black or a little bit of white, depending on how dark your gray is, and then go back over it to get that kind of look. And you do this for all the posts. And we've got the cross piece as well. Do we have any messages or notes from anyone? Joan, do we have any questions so far? Our students very rarely have questions.
Yeah, because they're busy painting.
Makes me wonder, is there anybody out there? Are we okay? What are everybody doing? So I'm going to go back in on this and just use my small brush to fill in, but for now I'm just trying to move along quickly. So I hope that you have plans for the summer. I know it's been really hard to plan anything with all of the restrictions that we've been under for the last few months, but I hope that you're looking ahead to when we can be have a bit more freedom, I suppose, and still, of course, keep safe, keep to the safety guidelines, and that you maybe even have some summer projects at home that you want to get done. We will, although we will be on break, we will still be posting from time to time some art-related projects that you can do or you can do with the kids. I can't say that it's going to be every week, but you can, look out from time to time for something new from us. Ideally, we would love, for you to be able to go out with your families and to enjoy some of the fresh air in a safe and responsible manner, of course.
Stacy Ann Allen.
Hi, Stacey Ann. Are you painting today? Okay. And remember your cross piece as well. Do not cover over your bird, so paint around your bird.
Stacy Ann says yes, she is.
Oh, fantastic. Great. Always good to have you with us, Stacey Ann. So, of course, we will resume in the fall, and we'll have some details on that for you. So if you've been just sort of an observer and just looking at us through these last few weeks, and I think it's time for you to kind of get off the fence, since we're painting a fence, get it? Get off the fence and come join the class. As you can tell, we are not expert artists by any stretch of the imagination. Well, Joan is. I am not. I am a slapdash kind of person. But we love art, and we love to share our love of art. And we would love to have you join us. And believe me, it is not an intimidating thing. You don't have to know how to draw or to sketch or anything like that. You just come in, willing to try and willing to have some fun, and yeah, give it a try, give it a go. Always remember to feel around your edges. I always forget. Joan never forgets. Joan is always on her edges. She's good at that. What are some of the things that you guys are hoping to do this summer? Now that we have to be a bit more creative, about what we can do, especially if you've got children and trying to keep them occupied. Now, along the right side of your post, you're going to run some white, and that is to show that that's where the light is hitting your post. You don't need to run that white all the way down. You just need to just along the top, along the sides. Maybe a little less under the bird because you could possibly argue that the bird is casting a shadow. We are going to come up with some grass over here, so that's why I'm saying that you don't have to run that white light all the way down the bottom. Can you guys see on YouTube here? So that last post of mine just kind of turned into just a solid gray. So I'm going to let that dry and then I'm going to go back over it. So hopefully this is very quick for you. So to bring some spots here. So the next thing we will be tackling will be our birds actually, and then we'll do our leaf last, and then all those other little touches. So I'm just coming back in with a little bit more black just to add some depth into my fence. Because it does have a tendency to turn into just sort of a monochrome, I think that's the word, gray, and you don't want that. You want it to look like this fence has been around for a while and it's got some weathering and some interesting effects happening in the wood. Okay. So the next thing, so what we want to do is just to re-emphasize that white. So I'm going to actually switch to my medium-sized brush, medium-sized brush, and I'm just going to go back in and do that touch of white, as I mentioned to you, along the right sides of our post to show that that's where our sunlight is hitting. So that's one of the things you always have to be cognizant of, always be aware, where is your light source coming from? And that helps to make your paintings look more too, if you can show that you know where your source of light is coming from. So then your painting doesn't just look flat because you can do highlights. So for example, all right, so here we go. So we've got our white highlights. Now we are going to switch to our birds. So for that, please, you can rinse out you actually don't need to rinse out the medium-sized brush that you were just using because we were using white, but we are going to switch to yellow. Oh, sip, time for a sip.
So they can see.
Oh, sorry, sip. Every time I take a sip, he has to take a sip too. Equal opportunity sipping here.
I take a gulp.
Takes a cup. All right, we are switching over to our yellow. Now for our bird, the yellow portions of our bird will be the head and part of the breast or chest area. I am coloring in the wings a little bit as well, but the wings will be actually black, so you don't need to, but I just had a little too much green happening. So I really hope that all of you students have been enjoying the class. I know that you've been giving us a lot of feedback over the last few weeks about how much you appreciate having the class.
Sarita's just logged on.
Okay. Hi, Pastor Sarita. How are you? I don't know if you can see me. So we know that you guys really have let us know how much you appreciate having the class and being able to participate and to do something that's fun and that's creative. Oops. Oh, I messed up my ink. I'm just gonna clean that back.
So she can see you.
Okay, fantastic.
Gigi Francis, how are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
She calls you lovely late.
Oh, why, thank you. So I'm just using a little touch of green here just to kind of cover over some little areas where I've got a little too much of a different color paint happening. So you don't have to worry about this. This is just me correcting my own error. All right. Then what we are going to do is we're going to switch into back to our white because we're going to give them white breast areas. You don't need too much white for this part.
Andrea Lawson.
Hello, Andrea. So we're just going to give them just a sliver. This is just more to show where the light is hitting them versus giving them a full-on white chest. So you want to just highlight the head a little bit, but the head is actually going to be black, so it's not really going to matter that much, but we'll also give them a little bit of a white chest area. So my paint is still a bit wet, so you can't see it. It is crucial, as I'm sure you've discovered by now, to let, if you're layering on the same subject, that you let your first layer sort of half dry before you move into the next thing, unless you are quote unquote painting wet on wet. Which is something that happens to me, but not intentionally. If you think that you don't have enough, when you look at your bird, maybe if you've allowed a lot of green to get through and you find like there's still too much green, you can always go back over and paint over with your yellow. That's the great thing about acrylics, is that you can cover over any little areas that you wish to redo. We don't call them mistakes because we're from the, Joan and I are from the Bob Ross school of thought, that they're only happy little accidents.
They need correcting.
And we are very accident prone. I know, they don't need correcting.
You can say you're very happy.
Yeah, we're very
all the
happy.
time.
We're happy accident prone.
Happy when you're painting.
Okay, so there we go. So we've got our yellow in. I'm gonna give mine a bit more yellow. So your bird should really be a very cheery yellow. They should really stand out. Okay, there we go. Now what we're going to do is we are going to put in our wings and then the wing details. So for that, we will switch back to our black. I would suggest continuing on with your small brush. We're going to do black for the wings. We're going to let that dry. We can probably start moving on to our leaf at that point. And then we'll come back in and put some details on our feathers, some feather details. So, small brush, using our black, take off the excess. We're going to trace around our wing area here. So you'll notice I've got two different sort of effects here. So I've got full black wings on this one, and that one's only got black up to about halfway up the wing. How are we doing on YouTube? Can you guys see okay? Let me know if you have any issues, or let Joan know, and hopefully I'll spot the questions, or Dalton will spot the questions and relay them to you. We're also going to do our tail feathers, starting from just where our bird is sitting on our fence here. We're just going to come down with this. There we go. Need a touch more black. Now, for the other bird, as I mentioned, what we're going to do is actually, I should have painted like about the wing. This wing will be half yellow. So we'll go back in and fill that in. But halfway, just to estimate about halfway down your bird, you're going to kind of curve your wing, the black area of your wing in like this. So you want just half the wing. Like that. On the other side will be the corresponding wing. And you fill that in as well. We're making good time. And of course, we're going to do our tail feathers as well. It's not always easy doing animals, I know, but we probably will start to kind of get into that as we go along. Again, congratulations to Daniel, who has outstripped us all and is already drawing elephants and the like. There we go. So we're gonna let this completely dry, and we are going to go over, oh, actually, sorry, before we do that, sorry, we're gonna put in our eye on our little bird. And we're gonna give them sort of a little band of black, almost like a little top hat. And we are also going to do the beaks in black. Remember, it will be sort of a triangular shape. It's very gently. There we go. So on this bird, I did forget that we needed to put the yellow portion of the wing in, but I think we should be safe to do that. You just rinse out the black from your small brush, all the black, all the black, all of it, and squeeze out the excess water. Make sure you can pick up a little tiny bit of yellow, and we can just fill that in. So make sure there's no black. Sure. All right, we're good to go. So we are now going to move to our leaf. Now that's going to be interesting. So you'll notice that we did cover over our leaf. So we're going to go back in to our leaf and we're going to add some darker areas. First, to outline the leaf, we're going to use a darker shade of green. So what you want to do is add maybe a tiny bit of blue to your green color if you don't have dark green. At 3 o'clock, we're going to have Joan join us. And we're going to have a little chit chat about what to expect, what you can expect in the fall semester or session. Now, for your leaf, you're going to use your dark green to draw your stalk. That's sort of emerging from some mysterious tree off canvas. You will use the same color to draw this dividing line that divvies up the leaves, the two different segments of your leaf. Use a very thin line, as thin a line as you can. Bring it all the way down to the point of your leaf. Then you're going to sort of outline your leaf with the same dark color. And you're just going to bring in a little bit of that color into your leaf so that it's not so obviously an outline. So you just want to blend that into the green that you already have there. All right. You're going to come around to the other side. Hope everybody can see that. And we're going to do the outline on the other side of our leaf. We're going to pick up a little bit of that dark green. If you've got a bit of yellow still on your palette, you can mix that in, or you can add a touch of white. And we're just going to try and bring some of that color into the leaf a little bit so that it's not such a harsh outline. Use a little bit of water to help you blend. Now we're going to color in a bit more green into our leaf. So, but we're going to use the lighter shades of green. So again, sorry about that. What you can do is to your, you add a little touch of white. So you've got a lighter shade of green if you don't already have a light shade. And towards the top here, you're just going to sort of blend that in to the darker green that we've got going on. So you want to just blend those colors together so that they look like they transition a bit more smoothly. You want to do the same for the other side as well. You want to take your lighter shade of green. So what I'm doing is a mix of green and white and a little touch of yellow. And we're just going to blend that into the darker shade of green that we have so that it looks a bit more seamless. So you should have some lighter shades of green towards the inner portion of your leaf. Now comes the interesting part. With your small brush, still using your fine brush, we're going to take our green, we're going to add a little tiny drop of blue, and we are going to draw the outline of our water droplets. First, we're going to have a sip, because this part's the hard part. Cameraman gets his gulp. So you're going to get your drop of blue, just a tiny drop of blue, add to your green. So what that color should be blue-green. You want a very, very fine tip. So roll the end of your brush like Teacher Joan taught you. Now what we're going to do is, I'm just going to use, I'm going to do 4 dots for water droplets. We're going to draw just sort of a oval shape on our leaf, just an oval shape. I know YouTube, it's so hard to see because I can't zoom in, I'm sorry. I'll try to draw a bigger one on this side so that you can see it better.
Want me to zoom in on?
It can't be done, it's a webcam. But if you can on Facebook, that'd be great. So you want a thin line. Mine is a bit thick just so you can see better, hopefully. We're going to do one near our little stem area here. That one was a bit too thick. I'm going to cover that over. Make sure you've got your fine line. I was a little too heavy on the paint there. And I'll put one more droplet right here. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go back in with our light green, the same green that you used on the body of the leaf here. And we're going to color in our bubbles without covering over the outline. So we're using our lighter shade of green on the inside of our bubbles. Or our water droplets, sorry. You do not want your outline to be thick. Whatever you do, you want them to be thin. Don't forget the other side of your leaf as well, the droplet on the other side of the leaf. So you do not want thick rims or outlines around your water droplets. All right, you let that dry. I would probably come back in with a little tiny touch of green, just more towards the bottom part of your droplets here. You just want it to be almost like you're looking at the color of the leaf through these droplets. Right? Rinse that out. It is 2 minutes to 3, Joan, so hope you're all camera ready. Our final step will be to take some white, and we're just going to add Maybe like about 2 drops of white. Just a drop of white towards the top of our bubble. They do not need to be very bright white, so you can just kind of blend it in a little bit. They should not take over the whole upper half of your leaf, right? They should just be like 2 little drops of white where the light is hitting your bubble or your droplet. Again, I know because unfortunately, hopefully you can see it in the bigger leaf that I've done. I'm gonna try to, if, Dalton, if you could sort of zoom in on the leaf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not perfectly done either, but it's not bad. So here we go. So you can see where the light is hitting your water droplet. All right, we're good to go. So the next thing we're going to do is to put in our feather details. But I think what I'll have at this point is I'll ask Dalton to let Joan add Joan to our broadcast. So you've got to look for her and then add, I think it's add Facebook or add her live, add her to live. For our feather details, so you can just let me know when she's with us. For our feather details, we're going to go back to white and we're going to use our small brush again. But first it's in.
Okay, there's no way just to come on again.
Joan, if you are watching on YouTube, could you switch over to Facebook so we can see your lovely face, please? So
where she has to log out and log back in.
Okay, so you've got to log out and log back in. So I'm just going to send you a message because I'm not sure where you're listening to me.
She's on here. Tell her to log out and log in, and then I'll send her the request.
Okay. Sorry about the delay, folks. We're just trying to add Teacher Joan to our Facebook Live. So it seems like a good opportunity to have some refreshing beverage. Cheers. So, test and make sure that your black is completely dry. If not, you will end up with gray instead of white details on your feathers, and you do not want that. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to make the impression of feathers. So we're just going to use our brush almost in a slightly, almost like you're making little ticks, right? But smooth ticks, not triangular shaped ticks. So smooth ticks, and just little ones like this to make the impression of feathers. So we're going to come over here and we'll start here at the top. Leading up our wing. Right underneath that, we'll do the same thing. So the idea is that you've got layers of feathers here. So try to remember where your other wing is because you'll be doing the same thing but in the opposite direction. And you're gonna do this in diminishing numbers until you get down to the tip of the wing where you probably only have one or two of these little feathers. Oops. And we're gonna do the same thing in the opposite direction on the other wing.
Jen says she's on Facebook and she did like that. And I don't see an option to add.
Okay.
So,
Well, we gotta figure it out. And you also want to add some details here on the bottom. So you just want to show where some tail feathers are. Tail feathers are. Again, you want thin lines. Lines. You could just do like two or three lines here just to show the curve of the feathers. Yeah, tail feathers.
yeah, I can.
That's very normal. So we do the same thing over here. Just little layers, and we do it on both sides of our wings.
Yeah.
Maybe you could try clicking on her name and seeing if
I did that. When it's like she has to do something on her and she has to request.
I believe the last time we were able to just add her because it popped up under her name. When
Yeah, but I looked through all of her communications and that option is not there.
Okay.
Well, it's there for other people, it wasn't there for her, so she has to make a request.
Joan, see if you can request permission to come live, or if you can add yourself. And we do the same thing for the tail feathers. Just want to kind of come down here, just go up. And this is where your feathers are. So I think mine are a bit dark, a little too stark in terms of the white. So I'm going to go back in with a little tiny bit of black and just kind of tone it down a little bit. Joan, I'm not sure what's happening, so maybe what I might have to do is do the close of the class on my own and just try to
Just to completely log out.
yeah.
And then she's logging in with the request to be added.
She should be able to hear you. Everybody can. So I'm going to come back in here and just tone this down a little bit because that was just a little too.
But Mom says she's logged in on it twice,
Okay.
and nothing's happened.
Okay, so we will just improvise as best we can.
So if she can click on the thing and click on your picture, I guess. I don't know what it looks like from here. But click on your picture and slide. There's a slide bar there to send request to add.
Joan, hopefully you got that. So folks, we are pretty much at the end of, almost at the end. We've got grass and rain to put in next. We've done this fairly quickly. I would say it's just been an hour, a little over an hour. We're almost done. And then if pray, that we'll be able to have Joan join us. If not, I will give you the announcements. So for our grass, should we do a grass first or a rain first? Let's do our grass first. So we want to go back in with a color that's going to show up against the post of our fence here. So for that, you could go back to your medium-sized brush, and pick up your green. You can choose your dark green. Now you have a choice. You can either go with light green grass or dark green grass. I'll leave that choice to you. You finally get to make a choice on one of these things. You start at the bottom, draw your grass from the bottom using the side of your brush. So it's gonna drag, and you make your grass tall. And remember, grass is gonna grow in all kinds of different directions. You can also use different shades. If you were looking for, let's say, a more autumnal type of painting, you could have used red or orange, brown in your grass. And keep in mind more spring, summer, so I'm using just green. Remember, your grass is going to be thicker at the bottom, thin at the top. Joan, if we can't get this to work, I'll just ask you to please send me some of the information that you were planning to share, and I will handle that. So I'm gonna add in a little bit of yellow grass as well. Bit of color and dimension here. So if you've got your grass that I'm just going back here, so hopefully you folks on YouTube can see as well. I'm actually adding a little bit of blue to my green as well because I'm kind of liking how that looks. I guess that's where that term bluegrass comes from, right? In Kentucky and these areas. I have no idea. I'm just making it up. All right. So our final step will be to add some drops of rain so that we can account for why we've got little bubbles or little droplets on our leaf here. So to do that, we're going to just take sort of a watery mix of white. So we're going to take a little tiny bit of white, add a little bit of water to it with our brush. I would suggest using your small brush again. So make sure it's rinsed clean of any of the other colors that we were using. So we're gonna take some white. We're gonna add some water to it. My brush is not clean. So as we are getting ready to wrap here, so just to let you know again that today is our last class before we break for the summer break. And we do want to wish you a very blessed break, of course. We will have some videos, projects, and so forth that we will be sharing on our YouTube channel. So that's TLC Arts on YouTube. If you're looking for something interesting to do during the summer, and especially if you've got, the kids who have been home for so long and they're at loose ends, you can sign into the TLC YouTube channel, and we should have some projects there for you throughout the summer. Then we resume, and because it looks like Joan will not be able to join us, we resume in September. Joan, I think it is the 25th. You may have to help me out here, but we will announce it again. So we will resume in this third week of September. And we do hope to have an exciting beginning to our new session, our new semester. And we will be having a grand event to welcome everybody back to class. The registration will begin again. For those of you who join us online, of course, we will be, more than happy to have you guys watch us again. We will be remaining online for the indefinite future. We're not sure what's going to happen. That's in God's hands. But we will be online for our classes, and we will be perhaps doing one or two in person. Again, that remains to be discussed and under the appropriate guidelines. So we will be also welcoming someone new to our teaching roster. And that person is actually a former student who is now graduating her to become a teacher. And I'd like to welcome Christine Clark to our teaching team. And Christine will be doing the crafts portion of the visual arts ministry. So she'll be doing some more arts and craft, home decor type of decorative ideas. So we're very, very excited to have Christine on board. She's very creative, very gifted and talented. So we are thrilled that God has laid it on her heart to agree to be part of our teaching roster. So welcome, Christine, and cheers. Welcome all of you in our group chat. Please make sure you welcome Christine. She will be a new teacher in the fall. So drinks to that. And I believe that probably does it for announcements for what's coming up. In our WhatsApp group, I will post. I'm not sure Joan has probably done it already. Posted the actual date we resume, and we will, keep everybody updated. So, just look out for us again in the third week of September. So we've got some rain to do. So we're going to add some water to our white. We're going to take off the majority of it. And then we're just gonna very lightly just really put some drops like that. Almost like they blend in. You don't want them to be very white. Joan, if there's anything you'd like me to share, please just write it into the comments box there so that Dalton can see, and then I can relay it for you. So we're just putting in some rain again, just very light, watery white. It's more about the impression of rain. Always falling down. Or I guess sometimes rain gets blown across too. So we would love to say thank you again to Pastors Brian and Sabrina for allowing us to have the opportunity to do this ministry. It has grown in leaps and bounds and in ways that we could not have imagined when we first started. And we're just so grateful to the Lord for allowing us to share our passion with other people, and also to put it in the context of spiritual matters, so that it's not just about art appreciation. It is also about God appreciation and about looking at what God does in nature and what God does creatively, and us attempting in a very small way to emulate what He does and to appreciate what goes into the creation process. Of course, for the Lord, He just spoke things into being. We have to actually get canvas and and paint to try and make to do something similar. So we're just gonna finish up now with our ring. Is there anything from her? Thank you to the TLC Church. Thank you to the TLC team. Thank you to our students, our lovely, enthusiastic students who are always with us every Saturday. And of course, the last thing you do is to sign your John Hancock. So once you've got your name signed, you are finished. And I hope that you really enjoyed doing this painting. I tried to keep it as simple as possible. And I think it looks great. So I hope that I'm looking forward to seeing yours as well, students in the group. And on behalf of Joan and all of us here at the TLC Visual Arts Ministry, we just want to say thank you so much. Thank you to our camera guy and cameraman, Dalton, and also to Andrea, to John, for all of your support and help during this process. It hasn't always been the smoothest of sailing, but we are getting better, I believe, with every class. So we just want to let you know that we love you. Thank you. Thank you, Dalton. And also thank you all of our students and all of our friends on Facebook who, pop by to say hi. We really appreciate it. And I love being able to, say hi to you guys, especially there's been so many people I haven't seen for so many years. So thank you for dropping by just to say hi and to for your encouraging words. We just want to pray that you have a blessed and safe summer. Please do be safe. Please take precautions. We're not quite through this yet. It's all in God's timing. So in the meantime, do what you know to do to be safe and to keep your family safe. Have a wonderful summer, everybody, and we'll see you in the fall of 2020.
Can you find the video on YouTube? It's still live. I'm trying something.
Well, I've said all.